David, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How you doing, brother?
When's the last time you hit somebody? I mean, really hit somebody?
Last night.
Really?
I coach youth league football, my son's team, and there's 9U football in Oconee County. And one of my running backs keeps swinging the ball, Dan. You know you can't swing the ball when you're carrying. You know, that's how you fumble. So I told him I got a hand shield, and I said, next time you keep swinging the football, I'm going to knock you out with a hand shield. So I knocked him out a couple times last night with the hand shield.
When's the last time you got hit?
I don't know. My son hits me all the time. He thinks I'm a tackling dummy, so he hits me a good bit. He's learning football, learning how to wrap up, and he'll try me occasionally. I gotta put him in his place a little bit, but it's fun playing football with him. So, all
right, let me start with the headlines. If LSU beats Auburn, what happens?
Les Miles still has a job. I think he'd still be in Baton Rouge now. I think this was one of those things where it felt like it was going to happen at some point. It's just how it felt last year with the way it ended up and the way they left him twisting in the wind, which I didn't agree with, by the way. If you're going to fire somebody and you're going to, let somebody go, if you're thinking about it, it doesn't need to be a public thing. It doesn't. That's not the way you handle your business, I don't think, and I don't like that. But I think at some point after the Wisconsin game, the writing was on the wall if he continued to lose games. Now, listen, if you win games, you know how that works, Dan. You win games, all of a sudden you're a hero and everybody loves you again and you have a job and everybody's excited.
It feels like LSU wanted to fire Les Miles now just so he couldn't win the job back. You know, all of a sudden win 5 in a row and then you can't fire him after that. Do you think that was probably they were looking for that jumping off spot?
Well, again, something's missing, Dan, because I'll tell you this, and this is just being completely honest. When I was doing my Final Four before the season, LSU is a team that I never considered for it. Not once. I didn't give them a single second look. I didn't give them a third look. If I was doing a Final Four with the top 4 most talented teams in the country, LSU is in that mix.
Mm-hmm.
I'd put LSU in the top 4. But something's been missing, and when you watch their offense, still something's missing. You know, I mean, obviously a great last drive by Etling, but they ran out of clock, and, they probably could have managed the clock also a little bit better as well on that last drive, but something's been missing, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if the edge was lost. I don't know how it happened, but the talent has been in Baton Rouge. He's been getting these 5-star kids in Louisiana, the state of Louisiana high school. There's no other competition, and you saw the ESPN 300s last year. No one had more talent than Louisiana. And they all go to LSU because that's where they've wanted to play. And you need to win at a high clip when you're at one of the best jobs in the country.
But does he get good quarterbacks? He just doesn't develop them? Or is he good at recruiting at any other position but quarterback?
I don't think that their quarterbacks are put in a position to succeed at all times. I think they get extremely conservative, extremely vanilla. You look at their receivers, both those guys, I bet you Malachi Dupree and Traven Durrell are both top 3-round picks in the NFL. Obviously Fournette we know is one of those once in a 10-year type talents like Adrian Peterson. And I mean, you need to be able to find ways to see whatever a quarterback does well. He might not be the greatest passer, but you have to find ways to put him in a position to succeed, to make those throws that he does feel comfortable with, and to adjust your system. And I mean, the offenses have been extremely predictable in Baton Rouge, and it hasn't been what it needs to be. I mean, you got Odell Beckham Jr. several years ago. You got Landry and Jeremy Hill and all those guys in the same backfield at the same time, and you had a little bit of success, but you should be putting up, huge numbers and should be a team that's always high-flying on offense.
He's David Pollack from the Mothership. College Game Day will be in Clemson, South Carolina, coming up this weekend. Clemson and Louisville, a game on ABC at 8 Eastern. Also, College Football Live, ESPN Tuesday through Friday this week at 1:30. How good a job is LSU?
It's one of the top 3 jobs in the country.
Really?
I mean, oh, absolutely. And again, to me, Dan, it's about you don't recruit. You're the kids that grow up in the state of Louisiana. Again, last year had the best recruiting fertile ground in the country. They want to go to LSU. They very rarely leave the state. Texas is right next door. You're going to be able to get guys from Texas. You're going to be able to get guys from the Southeast and the traditional Southeastern Conference footprint. You look at the guys they put in the league, and that starts to build on DBUs that they call themselves. And, I mean, you just look at the talent on the roster, and they got so many NFL guys just up and down that are littered on that roster. It's just, I think it's definitely one of the best jobs in the country, and a job that's a team that should be in the hunt every year for the national title. Yeah, they have to play Bama, but they shouldn't lose to Bama 4 or 5 times in a row. That shouldn't happen to LSU.
The wish list for LSU should include who?
Tom Herman, and Tom Herman.
Okay.
I mean, again, Dan, what do we want? We always want the opposite of what we had, right? We want exciting offensive football. Well, Tom Herman is one of the best offensive coaches in all of football. The way he calls plays, the way he designs it, he's got a hardcore, tough mentality. He is, by the way, he's used to recruiting that Texas area right next door. He's going to lock down the state of Louisiana because we know what it's going to be there. I mean, it seems like it'd be a great fit. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing that is going to be annoying to LSU fans and to everybody else who follows the sport. If you fire Les Miles and then you start going down the list and you don't have anybody in mind. I mean, I think Jimbo Fisher is going to come to mind because of the ties to LSU. But this isn't a job to me that you go, okay, we're going to do a coordinator. You don't fire Les Miles, I don't think, for a coordinator. You got to go out and get somebody, one of these big names, and I think Tom Herman should be number 1, number 2, and number 3 on the list.
What about Lane Kiffin?
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
I think Lane Kiffin is a heck of an offensive coach, no doubt. But from a standpoint of when he was running the ship at USC and he was making the decisions, he didn't do a good job. And now, listen, the one thing about Lane Kiffin that you think twice maybe, he's been with the best in the business. He's been with somebody that knows how to run it as good as anybody has ever run it, and manage off the field, manage on the field, one of the best CEOs ever. Maybe that's rubbed off on Lane enough where he could do it himself, but I don't think if I'm at LSU, I'm not sure I would make that move.
Yeah, I agree with you. What about Art Briles?
Oof. Obviously, we know he's the antithesis offensively of what they just had, and he's a heck of a coach. But, I mean, I think all that stuff needs to be settled first before you agree on Art Briles. You know, I know he came out and he did his apology, and that was the next step in the rehabbing of his career. But I think you still need to find out more that happened, because here's the thing. You know this as well as I do. You don't fire great coaches like Art Briles unless you did something very egregious. You find a way to give people second and third chances. Great players get second chances, get third chances. Great coaches are going to get second chances and third chances unless you do something that's really, really just, that you can't put up with. And obviously that happened at Baylor, and that's something that you got to think about when you hire somebody. And Art Briles is a great coach, and I think he'll get another opportunity. I just don't know if it's going to be at LSU.
USC situation. Coach Helton safe?
I think he's safe for now. They've had so much turnover, and they've had so many ups and downs, and so many things that, I mean, it's been like a reality TV show there, and it hasn't changed with him. And obviously this past week it stinks when you got to come out and answer allegations about one of your players possibly punching you in the face. I mean, that's a little aggressive, Dan. That's not fun. But it is Hollywood, and it takes the right personality. And so far it just seems like they haven't found the right coach for that fit. Like, listen, it's hard to replace Pete Carroll and what he was able to accomplish and his swagger, but I don't think he's out anytime soon. Lynn Swan's the AD now, and we'll have to see how that goes as well, because he's kind of new to the game too.
Brian Kelly, his situation at Notre Dame?
Well, finding the new DC you talking about?
Well, I'm just talking about him, because you can pass the blame to others, but eventually it comes back to you. Yeah,
but I think Brian Kelly's, I think he's earned it. I don't think he's in any kind of danger whatsoever. I think the list would be really long to get Brian Kelly if somebody wanted to let go of him. He's somebody that you could look at, and I think with the way he coaches offense, you could look at him with an LSU. That would be a scary situation too. He's one of those guys that could go there and I think have a ton of success. If Notre Dame got rid of Brian Kelly, I think they'd be crazy.
David, safe travels. Thanks for joining us. Great stuff.
No problem. Thanks, brother.
All right, David Pollack, ESPN College Game Day.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.